Thanks for stopping by. I'd like to preface this video by saying it is not a knitting tutorial, nor a knitting video at all today. It is Friday. Happy Friday! And if you're new here or returning, welcome or welcome back. It's been a whirlwind, you guys. It has been crazy here at the Paws and Pearls household. It's almost 8 o'clock and I have to scoot my butt in this crazy snowstorm we're having back to my work to finish up some things because we are opening. Actually, the time you see this video, we've already been open for 5 days, so I hope I'm still alive by the time I record for next week. And I've had to pull in these crazy hours to try to get everything done, so I'm hoping to have some calm in my life, even though I can't really say that for sure because I have a lot going on here. If you haven't watched Monday's or Wednesday's video and you're just tuning in now, I'm moving. So I'll probably just keep saying that every time you see me. I'm moving out of state. I was very, very fortunate that I applied to tons of jobs. I had a really good interview and a really good second interview, and I was offered a position in a East Coast state, and I'm just so excited to start a new chapter of my life with my partner and my cats, and a lot is going to be happening very, very soon where I have to find a mover, I have to find an apartment, I have to sign a lease, I have to pack, I have to wrap things up at my current job, which is really crazy because we're open to the public now, but with the pandemic, a lot of my normal duties have shifted a lot, so it's just getting things firmed up and lined up for the next person to take my job and to understand all the nuances that go into what I do, because there's a lot. There's a lot that I do, there's a lot that I don't do, and then there's a lot that I will be doing normally, but I don't do right now because of the situation we're in. So it's just making a big list of like all of the things I need to like pass over to my team so that they're okay while I'm not there. And it's a little nerve-wracking because I've done what I've done for almost 4 years now, and yeah, there's a lot to it. But as with anything, you move up, you move on, and you look toward the future and what you want to do with your life and hope for the best. And if it doesn't work out, just look for something else. And that's what I've done in the past. If it's not something that's bringing me joy anymore and I'm noticing that I'm really stressed for no reason, then I'm finding something to do that's going to help with that. And if that means finding a new employer, then that's what that means. And I'm really excited because this is a great, great step up for me. But at the time of filming, I have not received my official letter to say this is when I start, this is where I'll be, this is how much I'll make, all that stuff, you know, your offer letter. But my current employer is well aware that I'm still waiting for that offer letter, so I haven't put in my official resignation yet. And I'm hoping that by the time you see this video, I will have all of that in the works, in the paper mill, ready to go for the next steps. And I'm sure this Friday, when I'm going to be living my life at work, I will have known, or I will be updating you very soon if that's the case. Like my worst case scenario is that they try to change their mind, and that's why there's been a delay in the letter, because everything else moved really quickly up until this point where I've asked for, you know, we've negotiated my contract and I've received verbal agreement on all of the conditions, and I just haven't received the paper. So if they're like, you know what, maybe we don't want her that bad, so we're not going to make the offer, then you'll see more of me in a regular sense because I'll just be here with a bunch of stuff boxed up. I'll still be moving regardless whether or not it's in March or if it's in May. There's only like a 2-month difference between when I would be out of this unit anyway, so whether or not I'm still here and my current employer is the question based on if that offer letter gets submitted and I sign it and confirm that I am going to be starting my new job in April. I'm hoping so, but it's like, is it too good to be true? Everything's happening so quickly. Sometimes in the back of my head, I just kind of wonder, but I am excited regardless. If I get it, well, I have it, but if it is all the way completed, it's like, I can breathe a little bit. But if not, at least I know that I made it. Like, I was offered. I had a verbal offer for a job that was really, really, really good. And to know that I made it that far, and for whatever reason, if they decide to change their mind, I hope not, because of where it is, like, for them to change their mind like that would be kind of crazy. But if they do, then at least I know that I have, like, the potential to find something like that again. So that makes me feel good. I'm, like, super excited about it, but at the same time, it's like, until I actually see it on paper, you kind of wonder. So, that's just me. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and tell you that if you didn't watch Monday or Wednesday's video, I have plans to actively relocate, either out of the state or just out of this townhouse I live in. So right now, as the time of me filming this, I'm getting ready to go to work. I have some stuff to finish up, and then I'm hoping and praying that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday go well, because I will be working at my job in person. I get my COVID test on Monday morning. Right before I start my shift, I walk over to this building that's designated for COVID testing. I get my test, and then I wait a little bit, and if I'm good to go, then I should just get like an email saying I'm fine. But if something's fishy, then I should get a phone call directly being like, nah, you gotta come back. My boss actually had an inconclusive test last week when we tried this before, just our initial test before everyone was back, and she had to get back in line and get tested again, and then it came back with a negative. So it's like, ooh, that could happen. But they told us not to eat 30 minutes before our scheduled test. I think maybe to help with making sure your results are as accurate as possible. But then somebody else I worked with thought it was because they didn't want your breakfast like floating around in the vial if you have to do the saliva test. It's like, that's a good point. So I'm hoping it's not something like that, but it's gonna be crazy. I'm excited though. I'm excited to pack. Every time I move, I always think of like, what new stuff what new stuff can I buy? I don't think this futon's coming with us. This futon that I'm sitting on right now has been with us 4 apartments? Maybe 3. Let's see. The loft, the place after, the really tiny place, and then this. Yeah, so 4 well, it started with us 1, and then it's gone through 1, 2, 3 moves. So it's been around. It's not bad. It's just, it's not what we need anymore. We have a very nice couch downstairs, and we're hoping that we can probably rely on a blow-up mattress if we have company that want to use this room. Otherwise, I think I'm going to bring my chairs. Well, I don't know if the cats won't like that very much if we bring the chairs up here. Thinking of like the next place. We're still keeping our sights on a 2-bedroom, because we do, once COVID's over, we plan to have visitors again. Especially now that we're going to be out of the state and we want to see people, we'll want to invite people over. And 2, it's like our spare room for my crafting, my knitting, me recording with you. My partner uses it as an exercise room, so it's still going to be an actively used room. It's just going to be like a cat-free room. And we're still going to make sure that we have an in-unit washer dryer because living with a washer and dryer in your apartment, if you can afford it and if your means support it or your building, it's so nice. If you do a lot of laundry, it's so nice to have free in-unit washer or dryer because it's there when you need it, as long as it's working, and you have good repair people around to fix it if it's not. Um, it's wonderful. I'm doing laundry right now. I'm waiting for my pants to dry that I wore yesterday, but it snowed and I had to like shovel myself out of my parking spot because I was borrowing my partner's car and I just got snow all over my pants, so I had to wash and dry them again before I wear them out tonight. But, that's so nice. So those are like our two main, two beds, laundry, and unit. My wish list is to have a dishwasher. I used to have a dishwasher at all of my other apartments except for one, and it's so nice. When you cook a lot, when you're going through dishes all the time, it's so nice because I get home late, I'm tired, and the last thing I want to do is like wash some dishes after I've cooked dinner. It's like they're sitting in the sink and they're sitting in the sink. It's like I have to wash them. So having that luxury, it's definitely a privilege, but once you've had it, if you're into it, it's like so nice. But if you enjoy washing dishes or don't mind or don't cook enough where, you don't go through so many pots and pans and silverware and stuff, then it might not be that big of a deal. But for me, being a person who the last thing I want to do is wash dishes after cooking, it's so nice to have a dishwasher. And I haven't had one for 3.5 years, and I'm surprised that I've still made it this far. I'm super spoiled when it comes to that. And it would be nice to have a central AC because we have window units, but you guys remember me in here in the summer dying, having the fan on, just sweltering. We only have 2 units, and the way that our windows are set up here, it's not the right AC unit to have outside of a second story because it's not supported by anything, and the window opens sideways, and ours is like an up and down AC, so you'd have to put like a board in the window to keep that gap covered, and it's just all kinds of dangerous. So we would like to have central air. We used to at one of our apartments, and it was really nice just to have it on, ready, turning on when you got home. It was nice and cool when you needed it, or turn it off whenever, and just throughout the house. So I think that apartment was the best we ever had, except that some stuff, like a package got stolen once, and some of the neighbors were really, really loud. But other than that, like, we had all of these really nice amenities there that just made living there really nice. And I think we stayed there like 2 or 3 years or something like that. We were there for quite a while before we moved. So it was nice. It was nice. But yeah, so I'm just thinking of like, what are some of the things that we really liked from our previous places, and what do we want to see in the place we moved to? Plus, what can we afford with our wish list? Because we might have to take away some things, but of course it has to be cat friendly, and it needs to have some kind of parking because my partner has a car, so we need to be able to park relatively close, because if we're going to make this big compromise of moving for me, then at least we can make sure that they have a place for their vehicle. And so that's something that we're thinking about as well. So I've been lucky. I've been able to find some listings with all of the things on the wish list and under budget or at budget. So that's good. But the longer I wait, the less likely I think those will still be available by the time we have to sign a lease. So it's kind of like waiting around. But my cousin has some friends that live in the area where we'll be moving to, so she told me she would get in touch with them to see if any of them know of the neighborhoods that we're looking at, and or would be able to kind of drive around or look at apartments on our behalf, just to kind of get a visual to make sure that the description matches the what you get, the package deal, because right now with COVID, it's harder for people to go into buildings, and with my work restrictions, if I were to leave the state, I would have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and with the way that things are going at work, it's just not possible for me right now to be able to quarantine out of the office. So everything I have to do has to be really, really strategic. And I'm like, what do I do now? So I'm waiting to see from my cousin if she has her friends. But in the meantime, by the time you see this, I probably will have my Excel draft together. I'm going to be using a document just to track the prices, the neighborhoods, the lease availability, and to get a kind of a feel of where I want to narrow down our search so that I'm only paying for like certain application fees if and the neighborhood is good and it's close to where I'll be going to work and has the things that are on our wish list that we are really looking forward to enjoying in our new place. So with that being said, I hope you all have a really good weekend, whatever you're up to. Let me know what you're knitting. Let me know if you are excited to live vicariously through this experience. Maybe not so much the packing part, maybe not even the moving part, but just the new environment. I'm getting old. I don't know how many more times I feel like I want to move, And my supervisor was like, yeah, you never know, the next 5 years you might not be able to, like, my supervisor is very much, like, in support of this thing that I'm doing, but she's like, if you take it, it's a good time to take it because you never know in, like, 6 years if you'll be able to move. And I think she implied that, like, my partner and I might have kids or something. She doesn't know, like, what our family dynamic is, but she was saying more because I'm in my early 30s that I might start having kids and it'll be really hard to move with a young family to try to find a school district and a house that is big enough and all of that stuff. And I was thinking, like, well, yeah, that's all something to consider, but I'm also like, I'm not having any kids. My kids are my cats, and I know they're not going to like moving very much, but at least I don't have to try to find a school for them to go to or have them make new friends and all that goes along with moving. So I remember when I had to move, and I was just like, why? Why do I have to leave? What I know? And the cats feel the same way, but they warm up after a while. They do. And I'm hoping that maybe in this new environment, Kabu will stop licking herself to death because she's been doing pretty well lately, but I know it's starting again because her tail's looking a little thin, so she's getting back into her bitey, licky phase. So I'm not sure if we want to wait until we get a new vet to see what we can do about treatment, because I feel like taking her to the vet, getting her shots again, and then moving is just a lot of stress. But I do want to have them set up for maybe seeing if there's like any kind of remedy to kind of help sedate them. Not like super sedate them, but like calm them while we drive for a very long time to our new place. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.